Okay, folks, we're back, and joining us now is a man that we have referred to on this show as Georgia Governor-Elect Brian Kemp since November 7th. So, Georgia Governor-Elect Brian Kemp joins us now. How are you, sir? Good morning.
Hey, good morning. Happy Thanksgiving. Appreciate you guys having me on.
Let me go first with this. I don't want to talk about the election. I don't want to go back down any roads, but I do want to make this comment because we come from rural Georgia, and I want to say a thank you on behalf of all of our election workers, because all of these Secretary of State attacks, and I'm going to say all of the Secretary of State attacks, were really attacks on our local election officials. And we want to thank you for defending them. We know so many of them, and we just want to thank you for defending them, because a lot of the people with the national rhetoric that was going on didn't realize that those attacks really filtered into our local election offices.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, if the national media and some of the local media, not in rural Georgia, but speaking specifically in Atlanta, would bother to talk to our local elections officials, they would realize that they are simply following the law. They're not having these issues. The issues that they are having are from people that haven't properly registered or don't know how the process works. And, you know, you have the Democrats just telling anybody and everybody to vote a provisional ballot, even if they're not registered. And I got kind of tired of that. I could take the attacks myself. I'm in the political arena. I put myself out there, so I'm not worried about that. But, you know, when they start criticizing our local election officials, our registrars, and quite honestly, guys, a bipartisan local elections board that is overseeing the process to make sure that every eligible vote is counted, I just got kind of tired of that rhetoric and started pushing back on that, because I'm like you. I appreciate what they do. It's a thankless job, and they are very dedicated to that, and that is why we had such a smooth election across our state, regardless of the rhetoric that was out there. And by the way, we had record turnout. We had 1.4 million more votes in this election than the last midterm. That's incredible. And I appreciate our locals for doing a good job.
Well, we just want to say again, we appreciate that, because I have seen you in our area before visiting election offices several years back. So we want to thank you for defending our local elected officials. We know you have your transition team in place, and you haven't had probably a minute free since November 7th or before then. But let me ask you a question. Have you already crafted your 2019 legislative agenda? Do you have anything you can share with us that we already know that you're working with your transition team, and you're already working with the leadership in both the House and the Senate there for your 2019 agenda?
Well, absolutely. We've gone to work even before the race was certified, because we've known, like you said, since November 7th that we had the votes, and my opponent did not, despite all the, trying to find a judge to say otherwise. But we've been working on that. It's going to be it'll be hard work, but we know the path that we have, because I'm going to do it exactly like I told folks when I came through North Georgia on my bus tour. We're going to implement the things that I said on the campaign trail. We're going to work on strengthening rural Georgia. We're going to increase the rural hospital tax credit. That's something that Jeff Duncan and I have talked about repeatedly on the trail. I know Speaker Ralston in the House is supportive of helping move the needle on rural health care and saving our rural hospitals. So we're committed to working with all of those individuals on that. We're going to go after street gangs and drug cartels. Part of our public safety reform plan is going to be doing just that. We had meetings Monday and Tuesday laying that agenda out. We're absolutely going to work with the Speaker and the new Lieutenant Governor in the House and the Senate to lower taxes again this year, like was done last year under the leadership of Governor Deal. And we're going to keep the state moving in the right direction and keep our economy strong and our growth strong, and keep Georgia the best state to live, work, and raise your children in the country.
So we could look forward to 2019 legislative agenda from a Governor Brian Kemp. We can look forward to some movement in drug cartels, going after drug cartels, and our safety here lowering taxes, and rural health care. Those are all the things that you plan to just jump on right in 2019 and make some things start moving?
Oh, absolutely, and many other things that I've been talking about, man. I think that's what, that's what this opportunity is so great for me, despite the close election. We had to fight and we had to battle, and I want to thank rural Georgia as well for turning out so strong to help us win this race. We were even outside the margin of requesting a runoff or requesting a recount. Certainly no runoff, so we're very grateful for the opportunity and the support that we have out there. But we're going to be implementing those plans. I mean, that's what we're going to do. We're going to have a methodical approach to start cutting government regulations, streamlining government budgeting conservatively so we can have tax reform, keeping our families safe, making Georgia #1 for small business, reforming state government, and strengthening rural Georgia. We have a lot of work to do, and I'm ready to get to work. We already are to do just that.
We appreciate you taking your time, sir, and we know you've got to move right along because you have several interviews and things going on. You're very busy right now. Can you do the things in 2019 and stay in the window of that $26 billion state budget? I know we talked about that as candidate Kemp. We talked about that before of the increase in the budget year after year. So have you already talked about this big $26 billion budget with the Speaker and the Lieutenant Governor-Elect Duncan and some of the representatives there as far as 2019, getting your agenda done and staying in that window?
Well, I haven't spoken with the legislature yet. As you know, last week they were very busy with the special session. My job is we've got to take the budget that Governor Deal has been working on, put our stamp on it as it's handed off to us, and get that presented to the legislature. Then they will weigh in with what their priorities are, and then that's part of the process. It's part of the checks and the balances. But I can tell you that we are going to budget conservatively. As a true conservative, I'm going to be looking for ways for us to save money in state government, to reduce spending where we can. That is a process that won't just happen quickly this year because we don't have a whole lot of time. But as we get into the next 2 or 3 years, we're going to be asking and looking for ways to make government more efficient to save money. But the good thing is our state's growing. We have more people moving here, and when your state grows, the number of people contributing to the economy and to the tax base in the state grows, and the level of services that you have to present to people or serve people with continues to grow. Just like in the Secretary of State's office, we have more people on the voter rolls now. We have more people filing corporations. You have more people getting a professional license, and so you have to continue to give that level of customer service, but also think that we can absolutely save money and reduce spending in parts of state government that will help us be able to continue to lower taxes, not only next year, but into the future as long as our economy holds good. And that's my plan as the governor.
As governor, as you're well aware, we still have another race going on in Georgia. We have a runoff in the Secretary of State's office there between Brad Raffensperger and John Barrow. We have a runoff going. As governor, what changes would you like to see in the elections system for Georgia the next time? As Secretary of State, you were not able to implement some things that you wanted to do, but now that you have the ear and the legislative two branches there, what changes would you like to make in the election system for the next one coming up?
Well, speaking of the runoffs, I can't encourage people enough to support Brad Raffensperger and Chuck Eaton, two great Republicans that are running. It's vitally important we hold on to those seats, and I look forward to working with the legislature. I mean, listen, we have laws on the books for a reason. A lot of the rhetoric from the left is finally getting pushed back on now. You know, the Wall Street Journal and National Review have written great articles about the processes that we have in Georgia. That is the state law. Many of those things, if not all of them, were pre-cleared by the Obama Justice Department, and now you have the left outraged that, you know, we actually check someone's citizenship, we require them to show a photo ID, and we do list maintenance to keep our voter rolls up to date and secure. You know, if it was up to them, they wouldn't even want to remove dead people from the voter rolls. And that's not a good thing to do. We are following actually federal law when we do that, and the national media fails to leave that out. So I'm not for wholesale change of these election laws that we have to make it easy to vote and hard to cheat in Georgia. But we'll look forward to working with the legislature in conjunction with anything they may see interest in.
Last two questions, and these kindly put you on the spot, sir. We want to thank you first and foremost, and we always will remember you visiting our studio up here in Ellijay, Georgia, and spending time with us. But as a Republican primary candidate, the way you campaigned, I'll never forget your first interview with us after you secured the nomination for the Republican Party. I asked you, as the candidate now for the Republican Party, would you campaign and campaign different than you did in the primary? I want to ask you now, are we going to have in rural North Georgia and all of Georgia, are we going to have the same Brian Kemp that we had in the primary, the general, and now? Are we going to have the same governor that campaigned in the primary?
Well, if you look on the front page of the Atlanta paper, I think it was 2 days ago or maybe Monday, I can't remember what day it was, it said Kemp not running from his conservative roots. I'm going to do exactly what I told people I was going to do when I was campaigning. My message has never changed through the primary, through the general election, nor has my agenda. That conservative 4-point plan is good for all of Georgia. Probably 90% of people would agree with that agenda of making Georgia #1 for small business, reforming state government by implementing a spending cap so we can cut taxes, strengthening rural Georgia and putting Georgians first. And a big part of that is keeping our families safe, doing public safety reform, going after street gangs and criminal, illegal drug cartels. And that's exactly what I'm going to do, so you can look forward to that.
Last question of the day, and we'll let you go. President Trump ran on America First agenda. You ran a successful campaign on a Georgia First agenda, which I really like and respect. Georgia First agenda. Now he is campaigning, saying promises made, promises kept. I know you don't want to talk about your next campaign, but will we out here in Georgia be able to see a Governor Brian Kemp run on a platform of promises made to the people of Georgia, promises kept?
Well, I think that's absolutely the opportunity I was just talking about. I have a great opportunity to go in and start implementing the things that I said. And I think a lot of people that didn't even vote for me in this election, will change their tune after 2.5, 3 years of this and saying, hey, look, the guy went in there and did what he said he was going to do. He's kept our state moving forward. He's lowered taxes. He's worked on strengthening rural Georgia and running high-speed internet to those areas so everyone has the same opportunity no matter what their zip code. That's what elections are all about. They're about the future. And now that I've won, I'm working to make sure that our future is even brighter, several years from now as a state, and that's what I'm going to work on.
Well, Governor-Elect Brian Kemp, thank you very much for coming on. We appreciate you in North Georgia, and I want to say we got to know your family. We appreciate that. I know that was tough. Campaign trail, your daughters, your wife, but they were out there every day as you guys were trying to raise enough money to get the bus from one stop to another. And we want to thank you because we feel we got to know you and your family during the campaign, especially up here in North Georgia, and I know many in South Georgia and all over. But we want to thank you for that. We want to wish you and your family, Georgia's first family, a happy Thanksgiving tomorrow. Hope you can get some rest, and then I know you got to get right back to work.
Oh, yeah. Well, thanks so much. Look, Marty and the girls are very humbled and excited by the opportunity. They're going to be a great first family in supporting me and my job as governor. And I'm just very proud of them. And I know Georgians will be proud of them as well. And we wish you guys a happy and safe Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You have a nice day, sir. And again, happy Thanksgiving.
Take care.
Okay, that is our Georgia Governor-Elect Brian Kemp on the line with us this morning. And, what I wanted to do this morning is I wanted to extend a thank you. I mean, we're not a, this is I supported his policies as a candidate, and I could not support his opponent's policies, just that simple. But many of us in North Georgia feel the one thing I got to give the guy so much credit for is when you meet now Governor-Elect Brian Kemp, you feel you know this guy. Okay, and I knew where he was going to go with that, but yes, the AJC saying, hey, Kemp's not going to run from his conservative, his campaign conservative promises, and that's what I wanted to say. Hey, we remember. So for all of you out there, before I go to break, that say, you did not, now let me tell you, for all of you out there, you did not bring up constitutional carry. Yes, I did. Well, I didn't hear it. Yes, I did. You did not bring up the heartbeat bill, okay? That, yes, I did. How did you? I asked him point blank, okay? We have all of the recorded video, all the recorded comments as primary candidate Brian Kemp. We have all of the recorded comments and promises as Republican candidate for governor Brian Kemp, and now we have Governor-Elect Brian Kemp saying, I'm going to be that governor. So all the promises. If you watched the show and you kept up with the election, the promises Governor-Elect Brian Kemp made the people of Georgia. Let's see. I look forward to the opportunity to go down to the Capitol and sitting down with the governor-elect first chance and maybe scheduling an interview face-to-face with some camera time. So I look forward to that. But right now we're going to take a break and we'll return right after this.